So on this side here, I'm just going to grab all the post data. So I'm just going to say post like that. So all the information is coming in through post like so, which is good, except for this file here. This file will come in through the files array instead of the post array. So at this point, what I want to do is just to check what the data type is. So we'll put an if statement here. So we'll say save puzzle like that. So if the data type is save puzzle, we do one thing. Otherwise, if it's something else, we'll do something else. For now, we have save puzzle. Okay. So since when doing this, I hadn't put this, which means if I will need to refresh here in order to have that implemented. So for now, I'm just going to say if true, or that way true is always true. So it's going to go through this regardless. Then I can remove this once I refresh the page on the other side. Okay, so with this, I want to collect some data. So first of all, instruction. Is equal to instruction from the post. Okay, so now I want to put this inside an array like so, using the keys like that. Okay, but I can actually just leave everything inside the post data. Yeah, I think that will work better because everything is already inside the post variable, so there's really no need for me to, yeah, but actually I can't control what's in here. There could be all kinds of things, so it's better like this. So we can initialize this array by saying array is equal to empty array, and then we do instruction here. We're capturing that into that array, and then we have main image. Actually, let's forget about main image for now, because that's a special situation. Oops, what am I doing? Okay, so we have selections there, selected images. All right, and then a data type. We don't need that for saving. So we just need main image really. Okay, so let me move these away from here just so we can have a uniform thing using the tab key. All right, so this is all we need. 1, 2, 3, 4 items. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's great. But the main image is special because this one has to come from the files array. So I'm going to change that to files. But we can just grab it from there like this. We have to process that information. So what we're going to do is duplicate this, and let me put this as an empty string. And then here we just check for the main image. So I'm going to say if not empty main image, but main image would definitely be not empty, even though the file could be empty. So let's look for main image name. So the name of the image should not be empty. Then we can go ahead and do this and eventually save that. And this one will be file name like so. Okay. So what we want to do here, as you can see, there's only one folder in this folder here. But I want to create an uploads folder. So I'm going to do folder is equal to and say uploads. Now you can always just create the folder in your server directly. That's fine. Then here we're going to check if the folder exists and we use the same file exists. So if file exists, we don't care if it exists, we care if it doesn't. So we put an exclamation point there to say if it does not exist, then mkdir make the directory of folder. And of course, we have to give ourselves permission to write to that folder. That's why we do that. We put 077 and true for recursive in case you have multiple folders here. Okay, so here we're making sure the folder exists, and if it does, that's good. And then now I want to move my file. So in order to move a loaded file, it's very easy. You say move uploaded file, and then here that's the source, and then finally the destination over here. And destination, I'm going to call it file name. We will create that. Now here the file is always saved in tmp_name like this. Now if you're wondering where I'm getting these, this main image is the key that we put here, of course, when we sent it. But this name, this temp name, etc., you can check it out by just echoing or print or doing a var dump or print readable of this, and you will see to show you what it has in there, the name of the file. Actually, we can do that if you want. At this point, what I can just do is say die over here, and then let's do a var dump or a print r. Let's do print readable, and then let's do that so that we can see that in case you're wondering. But I'm going to echo some pre-tags so that the text is nicer. Okay, so if now I delete what's in the console, I hit save and OK, you will see it shows me something. So there's a parse error here. It says unexpected double quoted string could not. Okay, so that's because die over here is complaining that it doesn't have parentheses around itself. So let's give it that, right? Okay, so let's do another save and see what happens. Okay, so finally there's a warning as well, undefined array key data type. Okay, that's fine because we hadn't added it. We haven't refreshed the page for it to exist. But what I wanted you to see is this part right here. You see the image itself has a name, the name of the JPEG, the full path here, and then the type of image, it's image/JPEG, which is nice. And you can check for this to make sure that somebody is actually sending you, because this could be a security risk. You know, somebody, instead of loading an image, they can actually load a an exe file or something similar and then send it over. So you can use this type here to check that this is the correct file. You can only accept maybe JPEG and what else? JPEG, a PNG, and WebP maybe at most. Now there's temp name here. This is where the file is sent for a temporal period, and so you can copy it from there and send it wherever you want. Error, if there's an error, it's going to be greater than 0. Then it means there's an error. And then there's size, which is the file size here. These are in kilobytes. Actually, these are in bytes. So this one is 196 KB, something like that. Yeah, I think so. Okay, so what we want to do is let's make sure we allow the right type of files. So what I'm going to do is let's come over here and let's create an array of allowed types. So as you can see, this one we allowed is image/JPEG. We can also allow image/PNG and also image/WebP, like that. All these are allowed types. So then you can say if in array we are looking for the type that we've uploaded here. So I'm going to copy this. The needle is the type here. So I'm going to say type, and then the haystack is where we are checking, and there it is, like so. Okay, so let's move this up like that. This one too, let's move everything in there anyway. So if we do an else statement, we can do a die statement instead. So copy that. Let's do that to say image format not supported. Main image format not supported. Right? If it's not any of those. And of course, let's remove this here. Alright, so with this in mind, we have our thing here. So we have to describe what file name is because we don't know yet. So file name is going to be equal to, of course, we want it to be inside that folder. And then ahead of the folder, we'll put the file name itself, which is in here, like so. So it's as simple as that. Okay, so that's the file name, and to maintain the same file name, and then we'll save it inside. So here we are saving inside main image, we are saving just the link to the file. And then move uploaded file is what actually moves it from the temp folder to whatever file we've created, folder and stuff we've created here. And then once we do all of this, all we have to do now is just run the query function. I'm gonna do, why do I keep putting the $sign? This is strange. So it's gonna be a query function like that with a query, and then of course I want my values to go in that array like so. So now to create the query itself. So the query is the string that tells the database how to do things, whether to read or write information. So in this case, we're inserting into the database. So saying insert into, since we've already told it the database name here, we don't need to mention that. We just need to mention the table name. So that's puzzles. So insert into puzzles. Here I'm going to put the columns I want to insert, and then finally the values I want to insert. So here I'm going to insert instruction, main image, and then selections, and then selected images like so, and then comma. What else remains? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 items, 1, 2, 3, 4. So looks like I have everything there. What about the date? So we're gonna put date as well. That one is date created. That's what it is. So on the other side here, I'm just going to give it variables. So I'm just going to put variables here, and we'll put exactly what we've put there. The only difference is we put full colons at the beginning of each. So I'm going to select the comma of each one, move one step to the right, and put a full colon. What this tells PDO is that this is a variable. So it's not the actual value that I want to put, it's just a variable. And so what it does is it goes into the array that I've supplied over here and checks to see if there's an array there and this key in that array exists, and they need to grab the value of that item and replace here in place of the query. So the query is prepared, and then these values are replaced during the execution. That way we avoid SQL injection. All right, so we haven't supplied the date here yet, so let's do that over here. So I'm gonna do date created over here, and let's put it as part of this. And we're going to use our date function, and we'll give it a date format that we like, which has hours, minutes, and seconds as well, like that. All right, so this actually does it. So here, if I echo saving complete, just so I can see it went up to that point. All right, so with this I'm going to delete what's here and just hit save and save complete. Here we have a couple of errors, so let's fix that. So it says undefined array data. Okay, so that's fine, but there's a fatal error here which says column not found, selected images. Okay, so that could be true. That's image selections. So in the table we called it image selections, so That's what we should call it here, which is weird why I changed that. It's always better to just use the same universal stuff. So I'm going to delete all of this here and hit another save. Okay, so we have another fatal error. It says invalid parameter number. Parameter was not defined. Okay, so what it says here is that invalid parameter number means some stuff here, there's either too many items in the array. Let's see, there's main image there. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items, and then yeah, this is the same as that, so that's 5 items. So this should exactly match the variables we add in here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I don't know what's going on here. This one is different, yes. So we should copy the image selections instead and match it with that. Okay, so that should work. So you have to be careful to actually match those things. So save, and let's hit save. Another fatal error, column not found, selected images, unknown column. Wait, selected images? Where is this a problem? This is in the PDO execution. So selected images, yeah. Let me do this, let me check. Okay, so nothing was saved. Selected images. Why is it talking about selected images when I've replaced it? Image selections. Oh, right here. Selected images. I should have checked that as well. Ooh, my bad. Okay, should be good to go now. Save. Okay, so we only have this warning data type, which will go once we refresh the page, and then it says save complete. So if I check in the browser here, I should see, wait, the instruction was null. For some reason, it didn't save that, but the rest of it did save. So we should check on that, why that didn't save. Because I got data type. Why? Should have said instruction here. Oh my god. Okay, so in the next one, we're going to get it right. So in the next one, we won't get any errors, but at least we've saved all the information required. As you can see inside, let me edit this one so you can see what's in here. So as you can see, these are coordinates for the selection, the XY coordinates, the width and height for each box that we created inside that canvas. Okay, so those are the selections, and then we have image selections here. I'm going to double click in there, and this is what we have. So this one looks a little bit more complex, but what it is base 64, as you can see here, base 64 versions of the images, but saved inside arrays. So the first array just has the data that describes the entire image. So literally here we are saving images in the database, which is not really a good idea, but the images are quite small because those are the small selection images, so I can live with that. But if in your case you are dealing with high quality images, you may want to save this data as actual files instead. So what you can do is you can just save this data as a file inside a file and then save the file name inside here. That could be an option that you want to do. So maybe we can do that in the next video, and then the date over here. But otherwise, that's how we save the data in there. Alright, so we're going to continue in the next video on how to load back that data.